I want that filled right to the top.
Nope. Welcome back, President Hall. For an interesting change of pace, we're going to have martinis today during our interview. And I'm going to check my notes and see who we're talking to. Apparently it's Daniela Sigia. Apparently you're an entrepreneur and a creative director.
Apparently.
Congratulations.
Thank you for that.
That's fantastic. Now you're a true entrepreneur, aren't you? You've done everything from media related stuff to textile recycling to, what else do we have here? You're an author. You just started several lines of cosmetics.
I think the term is serial entrepreneur.
Did I miss anything?
A few things, but that's okay.
Let's start with textile reclamation.
Yes.
What the hell is that?
So used clothing. People are done with their clothing at the end of life, and my job is to keep it out of landfills.
I don't believe you. Why wouldn't you just send it to landfill?
Same reason we don't burn money. It's a resource and it has value, creates
Some people burn
jobs.
money.
A lot of people burn money. I don't like burning money, and therefore I don't like seeing clothes go to landfill.
Is that
Turn it into money.
Is that a big problem, close going to landfill?
86% of all household textiles end up in landfill.
Sounds like a lot.
It sounds like a lot of opportunity if
How
you're an
does that
entrepreneur.
translate into volume? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, it would be the equivalent of like 3 Sky Dome or was it Rogers Centre stadiums a year.
For Canada?
Yeah,
Sounds like a lot.
it's a lot. It's a huge crisis actually. About 6% of our landfill volume is textile waste.
So with an ongoing push for recycling and repurposing, I assume that business is booming?
It is the topic du jour. I wouldn't say booming because the government has gotten involved and has monopolized it. So they've actually decimated the industry and a lot of the potential that went with it. Having said that, it is a popular topic.
So you're saying government got in the way of business? That doesn't.
Can you believe
that doesn't
it?
strike the right chord.
When does that happen? Hence the martinis.
All right. Don't get me started on government marketing.
Don't get me started on government and business.
You were recently nominated for the Order of Ontario.
I was. I
so-
didn't get it. They wouldn't give it to me though.
How do I get one?
Well, you're probably not going to get one either.
That's mean. All right, you have to find something else to
We'll
get.
have to find another award to win.
My condolences on not winning the award.
Oh, I survived.
You wrote a book recently. Tell me about that.
I did. My parents both went through the cancer journey simultaneously, and a lot of wonderful people with amazing intentions said and did all the wrong things, which is a common experience for cancer sufferers or anybody with a serious diagnosis like that. And it inspired me on a trip with my mother when she was venting about all this stuff to actually write a quick guide for people that have a loved one that's been diagnosed with a disease like that and how to cope and what not to do, more importantly than what to do. And yeah, it's been
What's it called?
in loving denial. Stop saying I beat cancer, which is a pet peeve term of my mom that she kept hearing.
Wouldn't it be easier, in hindsight, just to have done a book on gardening or something?
A lot, but I don't think it would have been as valuable for people.
I guess you wouldn't have as many cancer survivors buying the gardening book.
That's exactly right.
All right. So I know these things.
You do know these things.
And speaking of gardening, you launched a website called the Neighborhood Homestead. It
Yes.
sounds like a title of an old western. What's
Kind of feels like going back in time. My therapy through all the reclamation work and the political stuff and the media work and all that stuff is the garden. So that's where I take all my stress out. And learning about wellness and natural plant therapy and things of that nature came naturally after my parents were diagnosed with cancer. And I started to make remedies for them for a lot of the symptoms that they had from treatment. And that's turned into a business because, again, I'm a serial entrepreneur.
what sort of things do you grow?
I grow a lot of medicinal plants that I can use to make salves and things of that nature. Herbs are my favorite thing to grow. But yeah, salves, anything that comes from an oil. I'm very big on essential oils and fatty oils.
Is there anything in particular you don't like to grow? Just too difficult or too smelly or?
No, anything that's alive I like to nurture.
Okay.
Yeah. Cannabis, that's fun to grow.
That's still legal?
It's legal now. I'm allowed 4 plants.
Alright.
So I have 4.
Well done. I need to know what Portia's Path is. How do I find it and where will it lead me?
Portia's Path. Portia's Path was a name that came from someone very intelligent that I know. It doesn't really mean anything. It was just a pretty sounding name, and I wanted something that talked about journeys, because coming up with that product was definitely a journey for me.
What is the product?
The product is a salve. It's a soothing salve that's all natural, and it was formulated for my parents. It started as a Christmas gift because, again, my parents had a lot of issues they were living with, and I made that as a remedy, and they loved it and started to share it with family and friends, and we started getting orders for them. So that was a business that kind of grew itself, and was pretty exciting.
And you expanded from that into beauty products, I understand?
Yeah, because I started making my own. You know, when I learned how much toxins were in beauty products, it's scary. And I started to learn, because of the industry, about chemical bans and chemicals in Canada and how many chemicals are actually in our beauty products. Because, again, my parents' cancer, I started making a lot of my own stuff DIY, and it turns out that it was better than some of the most expensive stuff I used to buy. So, again, that evolved into a business.
What makes the products work? What makes them unique?
If you think about modern day medication, most, if not all, were inspired at some point by a plant. And many, many times synthetic medications that we use are almost identical to the actual plant that they were derived from. So really, I'm just doing what we used to do before we started to make everything synthetic.
And what's in the works after Portia's Path?
We have a men's line, we have a woman's beauty line coming out, we have a line for pubic hair maintenance. That's a lot of fun.
People still have that?
Well, it's coming back. That kind of
Well, it always comes back.
well, landscaping for the personal. Is it well? But men, I heard it's manscaping. I don't know what women call it, but yeah.
Women call it shaving.
Yeah. So the whole bonsai thing is coming back. So, so we're gonna help people.
There's a name for the product line right there.
Pube Potion. PubePotion.com. That'll be available soon.
You're not going to go with bonsai something?
No, we're not gonna go with bonsai something.
Right.
Pube Potion.
All right, look forward to that.
Really?
Well, why not? That'd be nice and in condition.
Take you as a manscaper, but okay.
All right, on to the worst part of the show. Questions from the fans at home.
Oh, this better take a sip.
Yeah, that's a good idea. These are getting smaller and smaller. Goddamn.
I noticed.
Budget cuts.
Yeah, I just.
Even, I mean, I had to use, old dried up olives for you.
Well, thanks for that.
We ran out of the fancy ones, and I had to keep a couple of myself.
I know it. Well, so you got the good ones, and I got the shriveled one.
Well, I mean,
Patriarchy.
the producer told me I
It's
was
the
the talent, so I
patriarchy.
did the good olive. This is from Molly in Mississauga.
Oh.
Do all of your Portia's Path products have drugs in them? I'm not sure what kind of drugs Molly is referring to here.
It's funny because my mother's name is Molly, and that is something she would ask me, and the answer is not the stuff I'm selling.
All right. Just the stuff you give away.
The stuff I make for myself, for sure.
This is from Tony in Burlington. He wants to know, realistically, what can I grow on a balcony of a condo?
Oh, tomatoes? But listen, I lived on the 23rd story in Toronto in an apartment building, and I grew corn. So there's nothing you can't grow on a balcony. I grew corn, yes.
There's a joke in there about being corny, but that'd be too corny.
Not enough martinis to make that one work.
Oh, there's always enough martinis to make things work. I just wish the people at home that were watching drank martinis more often while they were watching.
It's a public service announcement.
Then they
for
think it's funny.
Then they think it's funny.
And finally, from Mike in Halifax, how do you see the retail landscape changing post-COVID?
Well, definitely online. We're seeing a more shift to online businesses. Unfortunately, because of social distancing, people's physical retail footprint is going to change where they can't maximize the value they get from each square footage like they used to. So they definitely are going to have to think of outside the box and convenience factor. And again, I think online may be the way to go for that. We'll see a big shift towards more online business.
And with your myriad products?
All of them are primarily being sold online. We're making them available to retail stores, but the main point of access to our consumer is online.
And I'm just going to circle around briefly back to pube potion because I find that quite
Because you
amusing.
manscape, apparently. That's interesting.
I bonsai something or other. Come up with something clever about that. I have to ask, what sense does one use for pube potion?
Well,
Did you take a cue from Gwyneth Paltrow or?
her vagina candle?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I haven't made a joke about.
Did you buy her vagina candle?
No, they were sold out. I did make a joke about her coming out with a COVID mask from the same line. I don't know if people.
You know, I took a different approach because I find that my customer doesn't want their vagina to smell overly vagina-ish. So the whole point is to provide an olfactory experience that's pleasant, and especially for people that maybe are insecure about odor factors, this could be a nice distraction. So we have 3 flavors, one designed for women, one designed for men, and one that we call for them, which tends to be a little bit more diverse and complex in its formulation. That may be pleasant.
Meatball sub.
Meatball
That'd be,
sub.
that'd
That
be,
would be what you want.
that'd be a great scent. Nobody would have thought that.
So the pubic hair that you're exposed to, you want it to smell like a meatball sub.
Not the pubic hair I'm exposed to. My pubic hair.
You want your. I can guarantee you that I don't know what your preference is, but if it's a woman, meatball sub probably may not be the way to go. I don't know that
I
women.
think you're just being pessimistic. Anyway, it was a ball connection as well. All right, we're done. Thanks for joining us tonight, Danielle. Please visit, there's a whole list of crap here. NeighborhoodHomestead.com, Portia'sPath.com. We got updates on gardening progress and soothing balm and various things. And I assume you can download In Loving Denial from Amazon Kindle.
Yes, you can.
How much is that? Is it on sale?
I think we have it at
is there a
6.
Dr. Paul code you can add in and the price goes up 10% or something?
Well, I guess there is now. Thanks for that. So yeah, now I have to give you a discount.
I said price goes up 10%.
No, actually, we keep it really affordable. I think we have it at $6.99 or $8.99, something like that. I wanted it under $10. I wanted that. This is some people needed this, so I wanted it to be affordable.
Well, thank you for tuning in. I want to thank our sponsors, Black Ram Media, Rich Graphics, and Opus Dei. And join us next time on Late Night with Dr. Paul.